Okay, I will just quickly. So whatever you have heard about previously, so if we summarize it, what we are trying to do is just we have uh, an optimization problem or a combination optimization problem, right? So whatever we want to do is whatever problem we want to solve. So let's say we have a problem P and we want to solve it. We have to change it to, we have to come out with a cost function f of x, and we have to minimize it. Okay, so so this cost function we need to minimize, and this can be converted into an Ising model, or you can say we can encode this into an Ising model, and the annealer can solve it, right? So, our problem that we are trying to solve is the prime factorization. So, how do we solve the prime factorization problem through the quantum annealer? So, a prime factorization problem, basically, what we are going to see is how to convert our prime factorization problem into a annealing problem. Okay, so just a second. I wanted to. Okay, so what we try to do is what we will do is our problem is basically we have a number n, capital N, which is multiplication of two prime numbers p and q, right? So and we are given n and we want to find p and q. So our problem is to find P and Q given N. So, so what? So I was going through this paper, and which was talking about quantum annealing, prime factorization through quantum annealing, and so how I will just try to tell you how it breaks it down, basically. So, so what we do is because so what we will do is we know that n is going to be so we can represent our n is going to be a binary number, right? So it will be something like this. And if we know the solution, p is going to be something like this, q is going to be something like this. So this is like a sample of. So we are dealing with, basically what I'm trying to say is that we are dealing with binary numbers here, right? So what we can do is, since p and q are prime numbers, and any prime number, a big prime number will not be even number. It will always be an odd number, right? Because if it's an even number, it is divisible by 2, and then it's not a prime number. So any odd number will always have its last digit as 1. So so if its last digit is 0, that means it's divisible by 2. So any prime number will always have its last digit as 1. So what we can do is we can write p like this. So what we can say is p is p1, p2, p3, 1, right? So if it's a 4-digit binary number, we can write it like this. And similarly, we can write q as q1, q2, q3, 1. So this will always be the format. So now what we know is that n is equal to p into q, right? So and what another thing that what we know is basically so if what we will do is basically we'll try to write n as a multiplication of p and q. So we will follow the binary multiplication formula, and we will just do the calculation. So what we can do is basically, since when we write it in this form, we can write p as in this format also. So this we can write as p equals to sigma I equals to 1 to n minus 1. This is how many, so let's say n1 minus 1. So n1 is the number of digits in p, n2 is the number of digits in q. So n1 minus 1, and you can write 2 to the power I pi plus 1, because the last one is 1, right? So what you will do is basically, what we do here is, since n equals to p into q, we convert it into a function n minus pq square. So our f of x equals to n minus pq into whole square. And what we want to do is we want to minimize this. So we will calculate our f of x, and we will feed this, convert this into an Ising model, and we will try to solve it. So I will take you to the example straight away. uh, so here is an example for factoring 15, let's say. So so when we're trying to factor 15, so our p will be, let's say, x1 and 1. So it's a two digit binary number, and q is x2 x3 1, let's say. So you can write it like, in this form: 2 into x1 plus 1, and q as x2 into 2 square, x3 into 2 plus 1, right? So so uh, so yeah. So now what we will do is, we have a cost function, which is f of x1, x2, and x3. We have three variables now, and and our function is n minus pq square. So when we put the values here, what you will get is basically a function. So if you see, we are substituting p as x2 x1 plus 1, we are substituting q, and then we take a square of it, and you come up with a polynomial in three variables for this problem. So once you get this polynomial, what we want to do is, we want to keep it quadratic, and we do one substitution where we make x1 x2 equals to x4. So once we do that, we come up with another function like this, which is in variables x1, x2, x3, and x4, where x4 is x1 and x multiplied by x2. And the same polynomial, we just substitute x1, x2 as x4. So here x1, x2 turns into x4, and here and we just do some manipulations here, come up with terms with x4. And once we have done that, we have come up with a polynomial which we want to minimize, right? So once we are there, so what we want to do next is, we want to uh, okay, so what we want to do next is basically turn it into an Ising model. So for each variable x1, x2, x3, and x4, we will turn it into, we will use this formula. So like it was said before, like, we can, from a discrete variable, you can turn it into a spin variable. So we are right now x1, our x1, x2, x3, and x4 will be 0 or 1. But if we turn it into this form, what will happen is, let's say if x is 0, our 1 minus si by 2, so si equals to 1. And if x is equal to 1, minus si by 2, si equals to minus 1. So you can try doing it yourself. So basically, from 0 1, we are going to 1 plus 1 minus 1, so to convert it into an Ising model. So instead of writing x1, we will write 1 minus s1 by 2. For x2, we will write 1 minus s2 by 2, and we do that for each x1, x2, x3, x4, and we come up with another function, other polynomial with s1, s2, s3, s4, and multiples of those terms. So now our prime factorization problem has converted into a Ising model, and this function. So let's call it g of s1, s2, s3, s4, and we can just map it to an Hamiltonian with sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, sigma 4. And if you look at, we have taken out a common factor of 2 from here, and it's the exact same equation that is above, just divided by 2. And once you have this, you can feed it into the quantum annealer, and it will give you the correct combination of sigma, all of these sigmas, and basically it will give you the correct combination, the lowest possible value. Because we want to minimize, it will give you the lowest possible combination of S1, S2, S3, and S4, which will minimize this function. So that is the gist of how you convert your prime factorization problem into a optimization problem. And after that, this is the basic method. After that, there are multiple optimizations that are done. So I don't, I won't go deep into that. But if you are going through this paper, you can go for other examples also. So if you see, they have given more examples. Like for 143, 13 into 11. So here they have done use a little bit a different formula. So instead of taking it directly like this, because the problem is big, they have used a multiplication table. So let's say yeah, so we have like this problem here. So we know 143 in binary is this 1000 1111. So this we know. Yeah. So we know 143 is this, and we also know that let's say we know that P and Q are four-digit binary numbers. So since they are odd, their last digit will be one, and since they are four-digit numbers, the first digit will also be one, right? So the basically a generic form of this P will be one P2 P1 one, and Q will be one Q2 Q1 one. So like we do our normal multiplication. So this is basically a multiplication table for P into Q, which is 143. So here we start with the multiplication here. So 1 is multiplied by all these numbers, we get the same number. Then we multiply all these numbers with Q1. So you get Q1, Q1 P1, Q1 P2, and Q1 here. And similarly for all the four digits. And here we introduce more variables, C4, C3, C2, C1. So basically, once we are done with this multiplication part, we are done with 1 into 1, P1, P2, 1. What we will have to do is basically we know that we have to add these, right? So this, we add this here, this here, this here, this here, like this. And we come up, so basically once we write these summations and equations, what we will come up with is just a second. Drawings. So once you simplify that table, basically what you will end up with is a system of equations, right? So since we are trying to solve 1 for 3, so for 1 you will get this equation for, and once you simplify it, what you will end up is basically with cost function, basically, which contains all these terms. Because our first problem was a small one, we had only three or four variables. But as the problem increases, the number of variables will increase. But we can have some optimization here, because we know that since x can only be 0 or 1, x square will always be equal to x, because if x is equal to 0, x square is equal to 0, x is equal to 1, x square equal to 1. So we can reduce those terms and do more optimizations. And once we do that, we come up with a large cost function. And and then we turn it into an icing model. So all the variables the same way, like we will convert our x's into 1 minus s by 2, and thus it converts into an icing model, and then we can encode it into our quantum annealer, and which will basically give us the correct answer. So similarly, there are more complex problems here, which have been actually factorized by the quantum annealer. So there are more papers out there which try to simplify this problem or optimize this problem, try to reduce some of these terms so that our competition is faster. So that is what we are looking into now. Basically, that's what we have to look into now. So how to make this cost function which is so big for just the problem of factoring 143, uh, how to make it like small with less variables, and how to optimize this so that our result comes faster. So that's the aim basically. Okay, yeah, any questions?
Awesome.
Like, can you share the publication and the name of the paper so that we can look it up later?
I put it on the Rome research page, but this is the basic paper, I think, which contains the examples. The actual paper that we were looking at was another one. So it has reference to this paper, so I picked up this paper because it has good examples. You can take a screenshot or something.